Hey there, welcome back everybody. Strap yourselves in because this video is going to be a little bit random, it's a little bit spontaneous. I'm just going to talk about citrus notes in my favorite perfumes and go through the different types of citruses and the ones I have in my wardrobe that I enjoy. This is not going to be a video to educate you about what citrus, any particular citrus is going to smell like, whether it's realistic or not. I just want to sort of separate the ones I have and talk about some of my favorite perfumes that feature these notes and go from there. Let's see how long this video goes for because I have no idea. Unscripted, unplanned, and here we go. All right, so the first note I'm going to talk about is orange, and I'm including all the types of oranges here, whether it be just your regular sweet orange, bitter orange, blood orange, there is mandarin, clementine, all of that kind of thing. The first one I'm going to talk about is this one. This is Ultra Zest. Even the color will tell you that it's based on orange. However, even though there is a really juicy, delicious, tangy blood orange note in the opening, that's pretty much where it stays. Like it kind of hangs around for the rest of the development, but Ultra Zest ends up being like a lot of the other Amen line in that it gets sweet. It's based on the original Amen, that sweet patchouli base. There's a coffee note in here as well, but what sets it apart for me is that beautiful blood orange note. When we're talking about a more realistic actual orange that's probably still sitting on the, attached to the stem of the tree, you can't really go past the opening of Azimor les Oranges from Parfums d'Empire. This one really is, yeah, you get all the sweetness and the bitterness of an orange fruit. That to me, I don't know why I imagine that it's still on the tree as opposed to having opened it, but it is just so gorgeous. But again, when we're talking about citruses, it's very difficult. For me, I enjoy citruses when they're a part of a greater composition. So I don't have many citrus soliflores in my collection, but I do recognize how well they work within particular compositions. So that's basically what I'm doing today. Now, when it comes to a bitter orange, and in particular one that's worked really well with spices, my favorite is this one. This is Declaration from Cartier. Now, Jean-Claude Helena for me is the master of citruses, and particularly in blending them with spices. Another orange based perfume that he's responsible for is Terre d'Hermès, in particular the Pure Parfum version, and all the other ones like Eau d'Orange Verte for the other line in Hermès. But this one here really works beautifully with spicy like things like cumin. You recognize the orange, this bitter orange in there, but it's a total, it creates something altogether different once it's melded with all those warm spices. So that's why this perfume I think is really versatile and can be worn in warmth and cold. Oh, it's so, and the spices also give this orange this creamy feel as well, and it's a completely different one to the Ultra Zest creaminess that comes more from vanilla. Here it's coming from things like cardamom mixing with that orange, and it's just a quiet, like for me, a very, very exotic orange accord in this particular perfume. Okay, so now I want to move on to grapefruit, and I did realize that grapefruit actually, there are quite there are several perfumes that feature grapefruit. I only just reviewed Pamplemousse from Guerlain, the Aqua Allegoria line, and you can check that review out. What I'll say here is that it is for me, the most beautiful representation of the grapefruit in perfume in this particular one. Another perfume where grapefruit really shines is one from the House of Kerosene, which I have not reviewed yet on this channel. This one is a decant I have of a perfume called Summer of '84. Now here, the grapefruit is, I think, more astringent, probably a bit more bitter than what it is in Pamplemousse, but here it's also paired with other citruses like lime, and this is probably my second favorite grapefruit fragrance. It is just so refreshing, so bright. This is in a way probably even brighter than Pamplemousse is, if you're looking for that kind of thing. Now I think what makes this like stand out for me is how this is interacting with the lime note in here, because you can pick up that kind of sweetness of a lime, and it's still mouth-watering as well. It's just really nicely balanced between the grapefruit and lime, and you don't see that combination too often, and in that it works well. And this one is just really refreshing and juicy as well. It's making my mouth water now as I'm smelling it. So that's Summer of '84 by Kerosene. Okay, so there's a couple more grapefruit scents that I want to talk about as well. Now, one of them is from this one here. This is Aqua Fahrenheit from Christian Dior. I believe this is discontinued now, but here the grapefruit is used on the familiar base and DNA of the original Fahrenheit Eau de Toilette. It just gives that character a little bit more freshness. Now the aqua bit, I don't know. I don't get too many aquatic accords out of this. For me, it's the grapefruit that really lifts this into a freshy territory. And the other grapefruit note that I actually really enjoy is from Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Cologne. This is paired with almond, as is the case, like it is the common thread between this whole line is the almond note. And with this grapefruit, and I think there's a bit of an orange note in here, the almond gives it, again, this beautiful, lovely creaminess that is different from the Declaration and the Ultra Zest again. This grapefruit, although it to my nose, it's not too naturalistic, it still gives this a lovely classy cologne feel. And at this point, I should mention that citrus, of course, is widely recognized as a synonymous ingredient with eau de cologne style fragrances, and fresh style fragrances that are predominantly used for warmer weather. They have that, refreshing effect, that effervescence that works really well in the heat. Now, I'm going to talk about lemon and citron here, and it's strange because I actually don't own too many fragrances that have a dominant lemon note or accord. Now, the one that I've picked for this video is unusual because it is, to my nose, like a warm type fragrance, and also Habit Rouge Eau de Toilette, the lemon note here is not particularly natural smelling. I have always recognized this lemon note as more of a synthetic lemon note, in that you might find in cleaning products perhaps. In this case, to me, it's a beautiful lemon-scented wood varnish that it comes across as for me, and I absolutely love it. But when it comes to fresher style lemon colognes, I really don't own any. I have recently been testing L'Humaniste from Frappan, and I've tried things like Aquavite and Aquavite Forte from MFK. They have nice lemon notes, although those perfumes in and of themselves aren't particularly exciting for me. So if you've got some lemon recommendations, let me know. I always get recommended Acqua di Sale from Profumum Roma. So apart from that one, let me know. Now, when it comes to Citron, which is basically what was an original, from memory, it's an original citrus that a lot of today's citrus has descended from or been bred from. It is close to lemon for me, except it does have this kind of, to me, Citron in perfume comes across as more like a candied lemon, if that makes any sense. And it's the most prominent here for me in Dior Eau Sauvage. This is a 2017 current formulation. It lends this particular perfume a lovely brightness that's combined really well with elemi resin, which is a resin that already has citrus aspects to its smell, and the citron and elemi give this a brightness that does not exist in the original 2012 Eau de Parfum, which is a nice segue to bergamot. So the original 2012 Eau Sauvage Parfum has a bergamot opening, which together with vetiver and myrrh starts off more, as opposed, I don't want to say the word fresh, but gives this opening a sharpness that is offset later on by that gorgeously warm and earthy combination of vetiver and myrrh, which is mainly what this ends up smelling of. But here the bergamot works really well to give that sharpness at the beginning. Now with bergamot, this particular citrus note, I don't especially love any bergamot soliflor, if you like, anything that is all about the bergamot. I like bergamot in a more traditional setting, and of course it is one of the three main components that make up Chypre perfumes in the opening. So this is where I like to smell bergamot. So I do have decants of Bergamot 22 from Le Labo. Now that is a lovely representation of a bergamot, but then the rest of the perfume for me pretty much falls apart once that opening goes. One perfume I really enjoy the bergamot in is Neo by Xerjoff. Now, I enjoy that because I love the way it's paired with the neroli and other green notes and a bit of spiciness. It is just a really luminous, wonderfully sunny perfume, Neo from Xerjoff. Now, when it comes to the way bergamot is used in other perfumes, the ones that stand out for me, apart from this one here, are, first one is New York Intense by Nicolai. I love this bergamot opening because it's kind of like a beautiful opening scene in an epic movie, because it sets you up, it gets you entranced for what is about to come, and what is about to come for me in New York Intense is pretty spectacular, but the bergamot actually really sets it all up for me. And then of course it is in Etruscan Water by Francesca Bianchi. The bergamot here is what adds that kind of spiciness, the fresh air feel of an outdoor inspired perfume for me, and it is used beautifully in a kind of traditional Chypre setting here in Etruscan Water, but with the Francesca Bianchi DNA added in, but the bergamot note in here is beautiful. And I'll add one more here. The bergamot happens to go really well with clove, I think, as well. It's like, you know how some things go really well with other particular notes, and the perfect example of this is Le Troisième Homme de Caron from Caron. The bergamot and clove opening in here is just to die for. I really, really, really love this one. Now, earlier I did mention Summer of '84 has a lime note. Now, I haven't talked about any lime perfumes, mainly because I've only got one. And even in this one, the lime, I don't think has center stage. I have worn things like Virgin Island Water by Creed, and yes, the lime is lovely, but it's often paired with coconut and ends up giving it like a bit of a suntan lotion vibe. Here I like Guerlain Homme Eau de Parfum. This has a really nice understated lime note that is paired with mint. And yes, apparently, yeah, it's the mint. The mint does dominate the lime for me on my skin in this one, but the lime gives it that lovely juiciness that offsets the coolness of the mint. And yes, apparently it's supposed to smell like mojitos, but I just enjoy wearing it, and it's been one of my summer favorites in the last year. So that was my wardrobe and my favorite citruses that I enjoy wearing from that collection. I'd like to know more about your absolute favorite citruses, maybe your favorite in each type. But any more, let me know. Thank you for watching. Like I said, that was random, a bit spontaneous, and now I'll go because I've talked enough, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you later. Bye.